got 8 juicy Reddit stories for this video, starting it off with am I the a-hole for being upset that I found out my wife was pregnant via social media? And this bad boy has an update to it. But stick around for 7 more insane Reddit stories, such as, am I the a-hole for being hurt that my mother-in-law wanted to exclude my daughter from Thanksgiving and Christmas to protect my sister-in-law? And the story that's gonna wrap up this video, Coworker ate dog food for close to 6 months. Am I the a-hole for letting it go on for so long? Alrighty, chat. Let's lock in here. Am I the a-hole for being upset that I found out my wife was pregnant via social media? I'm 29 and she is 27. We've been together for 4 years, married for 2, both from the same hometown, but currently living in a different city. She's at our hometown for a family event and I'd stayed back due to work. We've been trying to get pregnant for 3 months and now it's happened. The problem is the way I found out about it. My friend congratulated me by posting a screenshot in our group chat. A screenshot of an Instagram story posted by one of my wife's friends. The post was my wife crying and hugging some of her friends with the caption, "You are going to be the best mom." I called her right away and she answered pretty quickly saying, "I have news, babe." All I said was, "I know you're pregnant." She replied, "Wow, babe, how did you know?" I just said, "Saw it on Insta. Didn't think to call me first, huh?" She said, "What? I didn't post anything." I responded, "Yeah, but your friends did. That's one way to find out I'm going to be a dad. Thanks." And I hung up. I was furious. She kept calling me and I didn't answer until my sister called shortly after. Nah, I don't fuck with it. I mean, we don't know exact times, but this all sounds pretty quick. Like, it doesn't sound like she waited hours or days to tell you. It sounds like it kind of just happened. Snowball events, someone posts on their story that she's not even responsible for, and then someone else saw it pretty much right away and sent it in the group chat. Like, this isn't her fault. There was no malice here. There was no intention of being an asshole. She was just out of town when she found out she was pregnant. This guy sounds like a douche. He sounds like a dramatic douche. My sister asked me what was going on because she just arrived at my in-laws' house and everyone was freaking out, fighting, and my wife was locked up in her room. I told her what happened and she said there's no way she would do that. I replied, "Well, she did." My sister said she was going to find out what was going on. Why is everybody acting like he just committed a war crime? Should you be the first one to find out? Absolutely. Is it worth ruining what should be a very happy moment in your life? No. A little later, my sister called me back and explained everything. At that point, I'd calmed down, thinking it was just a crappy friend who decided to post without permission. But my sister filled me in on the details. My wife was late on her period, and while hanging out with a friend, they thought, what if you're already pregnant? So they bought a bunch of pregnancy tests, all of which came out positive. They freaked out, told her parents, and then texted some friends in town to come over. From the time she found out to the time her friend posted on Instagram, only 2 hours had passed. My wife told at least 10 people before telling me. Okay, all right. Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on. Don't get me wrong. I still think the husband's kind of a little bitch. But now we're going into everyone sucks here territory, because what the fuck is the wife doing, bro? Going 2 hours without telling him and telling 10 people before him is just no bueno nacho. I finally called my wife and she was crying. She apologized and said she'd been planning to surprise me, which is why she hadn't told me yet. I was skeptical and pointed out that if she really wanted to surprise me, she wouldn't have been ready to tell me right when I called. She went silent and I told her I needed some time to think. She yelled, saying I couldn't just walk away and that we needed to talk about it. I replied, "Why do we need to talk? So you can lie again." And I hung up. I mean, I don't disagree with her. I think they do need to talk about it, but also, girl, you just got caught in a lie. What the hell is going on? This isn't even like a series of unfortunate events. This is a series of shitty people doing shitty things. A ton of people have been messaging me, but I'm honestly exhausted. I don't know why, but this has drained me. I've cried randomly, which is unusual for me. I'm not a crier. This isn't supposed to be a huge deal, but it feels like I've been hit by a truck. My sister sent me a message that really stuck. "Hey, I know this sucks and it was crappy of her, but don't let this ruin it. You're going to be a dad. You're going to be an amazing dad. This is great. The only thing keeping me going right now is knowing that I'm going to be a dad. I've dreamed of this and all I hope is that the baby is healthy. I'll probably swallow my pride and pretend I'm fine just to avoid making my wife too emotional during the pregnancy, but I'll do that tomorrow. Tonight, I'll just sulk." I'm gonna stand on the everyone sucks here business, low-key. Wife sucks for not immediately reaching out to the person who is the father of her child, but OP sucks for his reaction. And everybody else sucks because everybody is like blowing this out of proportion, I feel like. I don't like OP, bro. I have a huge problem with him. He's like, "Tonight, I'll just sulk. Hey man, instead of being a little bitch, you could just reach out to your wife and really solidly press her to figure out, hey, why didn't you call me? Is there a reason that you didn't want to share this news with me? Are you having doubts about our marriage? He's literally like making himself unhappy. He could just try to figure it out, but instead he's like, nah, I want to be sad boy. I still see the shadows in my room. Get over it, bro. I don't know, Couch Skittle. I don't agree. I think she sucks too, bro. It's fishy. If my wife pees on a stick and it comes back that they're pregnant, the first person you call is the person you made that baby with. 2 hours and 10 people ahead of the line. I would also be hurt. I wouldn't react as immaturely as OP's reacting, but I would also be hurt. Like, dog, we made that thing. Call me. We do have an edit here. Just to clarify a couple things. One, do I think the baby might not be mine? Classic Reddit LOL. No chance she cheated. She works from home and we have home security cameras inside the house, so that's not happening in our house. She does not do girls' nights. Her best friend in the city we live in is a female coworker of mine, and we hang out, the three of us, often. They text each other a lot, but almost never hang out one-on-one. If they do, it's at our house with me in the next room. Also, my wife is the clingiest person alive. Like when I'm at work, she texts me every 30 minutes. And when I'm at home, she is always at least in the same room I'm in if she isn't cuddled up to me. When we are out, she is always holding my arm, my hand, literally does not leave my side. I honestly actually love it most of the time. I feel love, but it is too much sometimes, and we had a fight about it weeks ago. I even question if this fight was the reason she didn't tell me right away, but it's probably not. I might be just overanalyzing this and reading into it, but this doesn't sound healthy to me. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but it sounds like she's too dependent on him. He never said, oh, she didn't cheat because I trust her. He basically said, oh, she didn't cheat because she's a loser who needs to be at my side all the time and has no friends to hang out with. Also, low-key might be a little bit control freak because we have home security cameras inside the house. Not sure, chat. I don't know about that one. Okay, her texting him every 30 minutes but not hours for her pregnancy is weird. That is a good point, Echo. 2, on her friends, they are all very nice people. I've known them for a long time now. My sister is part of the friend group and some of them have been friends since they were like 12. My wife is the only one that lives in a different city, so they always hang out a lot when she is in town. I cannot emphasize enough how out of character this whole situation is for her. She has many flaws like every other person, but being inconsiderate is not one of them. That's why I woke up in the middle of the night with a feeling like I'm actually completely wrong on this, because she would not do this on purpose. There's no way. So I sent her a text just saying that everything is fine and that I will drive the 4 hours down there to talk. She was actually awake and asked if she could call. She did and said she wanted to come home. I said that I was going over there to pick her up. She asked, are we okay? I just said yes, and she started to cry. I told her that I'm very happy and I'm dying to see her, but we will need to talk about it. She calmed down a bit after that. That's when I opened the post again and saw all the comments. I asked for a day off and my boss was fine with it, so I'm actually going to my hometown right now. I will update when it's all settled. This is a little redeeming of OP, honestly. A little redeeming for him to finally be like, maybe I'm just being a fucking dickhead, and be like, let me text her and do what we should have done from the start and talk it out. All right, we have the update. When I got to my in-laws, my wife was sitting on the sidewalk waiting for me. She jumped on me and kept apologizing, just hugging me and saying how sorry she was. We went to her room and I told her I was really tired and wanted a nap before our talk. We slept holding each other. When we woke up, our talk felt like an endless circle. Me asking what happened and her saying she was stupid and that it was her fault. She kept saying it didn't matter what happened because she screwed up a big moment in our lives. I kept asking, but she just repeated that she messed up and that nothing else mattered. Eventually, she said she didn't want to give me excuses and that the right thing for her to do was to take responsibility and apologize. I eventually gave in and told her she was forgiven and said everything was fine. Still, I went to talk to her friend, the one who was with her all day, and bought the pregnancy test with her. Her story was that right after my wife tested positive, they spent about an hour freaking out and talking about ways to tell me or surprise me. Eventually, my mother-in-law got home and they told her. Together, they decided to invite their girlfriends over to discuss ways to tell me. The friend went over all their ideas and I 100% believe her. Okay, I mean, if these are trustworthy people, then maybe this is what happened. I mean, the only other option is that there's this giant conspiracy theory against OP, which isn't impossible, but I hope that's not what happened. She also said it was discussed with the group that I didn't know yet and that they should all keep quiet for now because we hadn't decided when to announce it. She says the one girl who posted it on Instagram absolutely did it on purpose. She had been told not to say anything to anyone, and at that point, They were even discussing ways to tell me with her. The picture she posted was taken when another friend had just arrived and heard the news. For some reason, she decided to post about it right then and there. Apparently, when they confronted her, she initially claimed she didn't know she wasn't allowed to post it. She stuck to that lie for a while, but eventually she just told everyone she didn't give a shit and left. She blocked everyone in the group, and we haven't heard from her since. No one knows why she did it. They don't know if she's jealous of my wife or something else. At this point, we don't care. She's blocked on our end too, and we want no contact with her. My sister later confirmed the friend's story. When she first called me with details, she was under the impression my wife had just told everyone and forgot to tell me. But after talking to other friends and my mother-in-law, she told me basically the same story. I was also told by a friend I spoke to, my mother-in-law, and another friend, that when I called my wife, she basically said, screw it, I'm telling him right now, and was super excited to do it. Me and my wife talked again during our trip back home, now with me having most of the details, and she told her side. Basically identical to what my sister and the friend told me. She was again very apologetic and kept saying that I'm her #1 priority and that this was one of the dumbest things she has ever done. We have a couples counseling appointment next week at her insistence. I honestly don't think it's necessary, but she believes I need a space to fully express my feelings. She's worried I forgave her too fast and that I'm bottling everything up. Honestly, her concern about my feelings is already enough for me to forgive her and chalk this up as a one-time thing. I mean, this is healthy. What happened? Like, the total 180 of this story has my mind blown. I thought there was going to be a crazy twist to this, but turns out it was just a little miscommunique, and they're both actually somewhat healthy. We also had our first appointment with an obstetrician, first because it's obviously the right thing to do, but also because many people warned me about the risks of miscarriages in early pregnancy. My wife's last period was about 6 weeks ago, and the doctor said it was a bit early for an appointment. Still, they ran a bunch of tests and confirmed my wife is indeed pregnant. So far, everything looks fine. All right, happy ending. I'm always dubious of those whenever we get them on Reddit, but you know, sometimes they do happen. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband's dad and dad's wife that I will not change our daughter's name because it hurts the wife's feelings? My husband's 29 male parents divorced when I was 2. His dad married again 2 years later. Father-in-law's wife is Sharon. Sharon and my late mother-in-law, who died when my husband was 8, were on very bad terms. Sharon said my mother-in-law made her life hell, wished her dead, laughed when she suffered 3 back-to-back miscarriages, tried to get CPS to take custody from father-in-law and her, and tried to get her out of the picture for good with CPS. Sharon said the only reason my husband never called her anything other than Sharon and has always seen her as an outsider is because of mother-in-law. I feel like that's not true. That mother-in-law died when the husband was 8. That's a full 10 years of no mother-in-law influence that you probably just shit the bed for. Listen, we're only a paragraph in, but I'd put money on that. Father-in-law's own siblings have said this is not accurate, and Sharon and mother-in-law just disliked each other. That yeah, mother-in-law was dismissive of Sharon's role at times and didn't regard her as equal in parenting, but was nowhere near as bad as Sharon and father-in-law claimed. When my mother-in-law died, my husband's relationship with father-in-law and with Sharon deteriorated significantly. He forbid them from attending the funeral for him and said if they tried to come, he would run away until he was placed with other family members. My husband told me about this himself. Father-in-law and Sharon said they feared my husband would start lashing out at them, and Sharon was pregnant at the time, so they gave in. They say my husband hates them for not being there. He said them following through and not going is one of the better decisions they made, and he hates that he had to yell and threaten to run away for them to stop insisting. That was confusing for me, but I think what they're saying there, that the mother-in-law and father-in-law wanted to go to the husband's actual mother's funeral, but the husband told them they couldn't go, and that if they did, he would run away because he knew that they hated his actual mother. And now they use that as an excuse for why the husband hates them, is that they didn't go to the funeral, when in reality it was the husband who didn't want them to go to the funeral, and he doesn't hate them for that. He hates them because they're awful people. I think that's what they're saying in this paragraph. That was a massively confusing sentence. By the time we met in college, he was pretty low on contact with them. There has been some more in the last couple of years, but barely. I got the whole story from him and how rocky stuff was there, and I knew he never planned to be very close to them. Sharon calls my husband her son. She actually introduced herself to me as his mom and was shocked that I knew she wasn't his mom. I haven't met her or father-in-law too much. I know my husband's extended family far better. He's much closer to them than father-in-law, Sharon, or his half-siblings. I gave birth to our daughter recently and we named her after mother-in-law. My husband did not invite father-in-law or Sharon to meet our daughter, but they found out via social media about the name we chose, and they reached out to ask him why. Then they approached me at the mall a couple of days ago and asked me to talk to them. They told me they found out her name and they wanted to know why we do that to Sharon, and how could I be okay with my daughter being used to hurt her feelings. They said I should insist on a different name. Maybe something after Sharon, because she's been here all this time, but definitely not a name that hurts her feelings so much. I told them I would not change my child's name because it hurts her feelings, and that isn't even on a list of things to consider for us. I didn't want to hear more, so I left. But we are getting inundated with texts from them calling me rude and disgusting for dismissing Sharon's feelings. Easy not the a-hole. Listen, bro, whenever adults are like, oh, wee-woo, you hurt my feelings, they're probably in the wrong. What are we, fucking 6? Like, grow up, bro. Everything about this story is just disgusting. The way the father-in-law is going about this, Sharon's like forceful, I'm his mother, is just disgusting. You need to earn that, and you clearly didn't. You're just like placing yourself there. It makes me feel icky, bro. Am I the a-hole for being hurt that my mother-in-law wanted to exclude my daughter from Thanksgiving and Christmas to protect my sister-in-law? We have a 31 female OP. I'm married to my husband, Tyler, 32 male, and I gave birth to our first child, a baby girl, almost 3 months ago. I love Tyler very much, and I always felt grateful that I married into the family I did. I grew up with a single mom and it was always just the two of us. I love my mother dearly, but I always wished I had a larger family unit with siblings when I was little. My mom passed away from ovarian cancer about 2 years ago, and so now I truly don't have family apart from my in-laws. By contrast, my husband's parents are happily married and he's one of 4 children. Everyone has always been kind and welcoming to me, and I always have a blast at their holidays and family reunions. The only exception is Tyler's twin sister, Ashley. Since I met her, Ashley has been cool and standoffish towards me, especially compared to her friendly younger brothers and parents. She's never been outright mean to me, but she's also never made much of an effort to ask me questions or get to know me. I know she also has some resentment towards Tyler, and sometimes comments on the fact that he's the favorite and that everything comes easy to him. Some of her comments irk me, since I know how hard Tyler has worked for his success, and also see that he has struggles he doesn't share with the family since he doesn't like to burden others. I've never said anything about the comments since Tyler accepts it's the way she is and doesn't get too bothered by her. Even though Ashley and I are far from best friends, I've been sad to learn that she had a hard time getting pregnant. She and her husband have been trying for around 2 years now, and she recently had a miscarriage. I've tried to be mindful of what she's going through and intentionally avoided talking about my pregnancy and now baby around her. I even declined my mother-in-law's offer to throw me a baby shower since I thought it would be difficult for Ashley with everything going on. With that being said, the entire family has been incredibly excited about my daughter. My husband is the first of his siblings to have a child, and so it's an exciting time and transition for the family. Yesterday, my mother-in-law and father-in-law came to our house for dinner. My mother-in-law said she had something difficult to speak with us about and started talking about what a hard few years it's been for Ashley. My mother-in-law said Ashley is excited for us, but it's painful to see me with an infant when she wanted to be a mother for so long. She said Ashley is dreading holidays because she's worried everyone will be focused on and fussing over the new baby. My mother-in-law said that she was looking forward to spending the holidays with us, especially since it's our daughter's first Thanksgiving and Christmas, but she's trying to think of her daughter's feelings as well. My mother-in-law basically asked if we could either sit out on the family Thanksgiving and Christmas this year or hire a sitter to watch our daughter so all the focus won't be on her. My mother-in-law even floated the idea of me staying home with the baby and my husband stopping by quickly to say hello. My husband was livid. He said that Ashley should be the one to stay home if she can't manage her emotions. And my mother-in-law said that Ashley is going through a lot and needs her family right now. My husband said he's not celebrating the holidays with the family unless the baby and I are both included. Y'all might fucking hate me for this, but I kind of think the mother-in-law is right, bro. The sister is kind of being shit-kicked right now. If you're gonna cater to anyone, it should be the person who's getting shit-kicked. Listen, it sucks. It's a sucky situation. I kind of see where the mother-in-law is coming from here. I don't think the solutions the mother-in-law presented were correct by any means, though. Like, this shouldn't be a we exclude you. If anything, this should be like, maybe we do two, like one with the kid, one without. Like, I don't necessarily agree with the mother-in-law basically being like, hey, y'all need to fuck off this Christmas and Thanksgiving. But I think what she should have done is been like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. What should we do about this? I started crying, which surprised everyone since I rarely show emotion. I said that I feel terrible for Ashley, but I'm incredibly sad and disappointed that my daughter is being excluded. I explained that I don't have family now that my mother is gone, and so I really want my child to have a strong bond with her grandparents, uncles, and aunt. My mother-in-law said there will be opportunities in the future for her to bond with the family. I said I don't think I feel welcomed in the future now that I know they're so willing to exclude both myself and my daughter. I said it's sad that we're clearly not viewed as an important part of the family since my mother-in-law was so quick to suggest we both stay home. I said I understand that Ashley is her daughter, and so her loyalty will always be with her first, but also I'm very hurt by the request. My mother-in-law started to backtrack and said she loves me and her granddaughter very much and that this clearly wasn't the right way to handle the situation. She said she was trying to do the right thing, but she didn't spend enough time thinking everything through. My husband was still fuming and asked his parents to leave even though his mom was crying and begging to work things out. I've gotten several calls from my mother-in-law today. I know I should give her a call and hear what she has to say, but I'm still so hurt. My husband is also upset and doesn't want to participate in holidays this year. Maybe I'm being selfish under the circumstances, but I can't believe how easily they could exclude my baby. I mean, I think the mother-in-law said it. Like, she just didn't handle this correctly. Her intentions weren't to hurt anybody. Did she hurt people? Yes. But I also think she kind of hurt people because both OP and her husband clearly have some like traumas. OP has this trauma of like not having a good family that she's now putting the burden of her having a good family and her reliance to have a good family on this family, which, don't get me wrong, I think they should be supportive of it and like fill that gap. But the way she responded makes me feel like she still has like a lot of unaddressed trauma from her personal experience with her own family. And I think the husband being mad probably is partly to do with the tension between him and his sister. Oh, guys, I think everyone's gonna disagree with me. I want to go with everyone sucks here. Did the mother-in-law go about it correctly? No. Should they be excluded from Christmas and Thanksgiving? No. Should OP and the husband be a little bit more understanding and sympathetic to the fact that Ashley's life is kind of going poorly right now and their situation would only amplify that? In my opinion, yes, they should be more sympathetic and want to maybe not figure out a way where they're excluded, but figure out a way that they can cater to Ashley, because that's what family does. Yo, if OP wants this super close-knit, heartfelt family, like, you gotta figure out shit like this. Not the a-hole, not the a-hole. Damn, I'm so heavily in the minority, bro. Am I the a-hole for refusing to cater to one student's dietary restrictions when bringing snacks for my son's third grade class? My son's in the third grade and his teacher asked if parents could help by bringing snacks throughout the year. Lunch is later in the day this year, so these snacks help tide the kids over. It's all voluntary and the only request was to avoid peanuts. I've contributed a variety of snacks so far: Cheez-Its, beef jerky, fig bars, and Ritz crackers. My son mentioned that one girl in the class didn't like any of the snacks I brought. I didn't think much of it at the time. This week, I brought Maydeleines and applesauce pouches. My son came home saying about this girl is now claiming allergies, being gluten-free, avoiding meat, and having a bunch of other dietary restrictions. I told my son if her dietary needs are so strict, maybe her parents should be the ones responsible for her snacks. Being the good-natured kid he is, he mentioned this to both the girl and the teacher, which got back to her parents, who then complained to the school. The teacher, who has always been grateful for my contributions, is now in a tough spot and gently asked if I could bring snacks that fit this student's restrictions. Based on what I've heard, this girl's approved snack list is basically saltine crackers, butter noodles, and fruit snacks. Butter noodles are not gluten-free unless you get gluten-free noodles, which, chat, by the way, taste like ass. I'm so sorry. If you're gluten-free, you live a sad life, and I feel for you. To me, this seems more like a case of pickiness than medical necessity. I told the teacher I understood her situation and that I'd love to keep helping with snacks, but I'd like to continue bringing the type of snacks I've been supplying, and if one student can't partake, it should be up to that student's parents to provide for her. My wife thinks I'm being an a-hole for putting the teacher in a rough spot. I just want to keep bringing snacks that the rest of the kids enjoy. Chad, am I a dickhead? I'm like, yo, fuck this kid. Like, this kid and their parents can figure it the fuck out. Listen, if your kid has dietary restrictions, that sucks. Don't get me wrong, but don't expect everybody to cater to you and your kid's needs. If your kid is the problem, you take care of it. Am I the a-hole for kicking out the real estate lawyer that my fiance brought to my house? I, female, have been with my fiance Scott for 5 years. I've lost my mom, who is my remaining parent, 7 months ago. She left me her house and I became the official owner 3 months ago. This is when Scott proposed to me and we got engaged. Although he wanted to wait before we got engaged, but he said that me owning a house now made him feel like we were ready to be married. That is some gold digger activities if I ever seen some. A few days ago, he suggested that I add his name onto the title of the house, and he has been persistent about it. He explained that this step was necessary to ensure balance in our relationship and marriage, even though I never made him feel like he's inferior or something. Oh, and I make more money than him, by the way, so I don't get how adding his name onto the house title would change anything. But since he insisted, and since we've been together for a long time and we're engaged now, I decided to do it, but only after we get married. He disagreed and insisted we get it done before we get married. This is very suspect behavior. Don't get me wrong, I think in a healthy marriage, you guys should own big things together like a house, but unless maybe there's still a mortgage on this house and he's contributing to it, I would not feel comfortable with how pushy he has been. After a lot of back and forth on this, I told him to drop it and wait till after marriage. Well, yesterday, I was surprised to see that he had brought a real estate lawyer to the house. And not only that, he said he has arranged for the legal process to start now. I was completely shocked because I never agreed to hire a lawyer, let alone bring him to the house. I immediately asked the lawyer to leave. He tried to speak, but I told him he needed to leave. Scott remained quiet till the lawyer left. Then he gave me a look and told me that what I did was selfish and disrespectful, not to the lawyer, but to him, and what we agreed on. I told him his pushing made me reconsider the whole thing now, and he looked shocked and hurt, then stormed out. We continued fighting over the phone, and he didn't stop talking about how stubborn and selfish I have been lately. He said he was trying his best to provide a stable living situation for us before we get married, but I was being uncooperative. After that, he completely ignored my calls. I mean, girl, this is Gaslight City. Like, what? Get rid of this man. Be gone, shitty man. Let's list all of the fuck shit this man is up to. Ready? Proposes only once you inherit a house. He's persisting on an issue that you've clearly set the standard for, which is that he will have his name on the title once you're married. He brings in a lawyer to start the process, turns it on you, saying that you were selfish and disrespectful to him, and then gaslit you by saying that you guys already agreed on it, and now not only refuses to take accountability for his actions, but also still is trying to put the blame on your shoulders. Why would you want to be married to that? Not the a-hole. Get rid of this man. Do not marry him, please. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister she's not allowed to bring her homemade food to Thanksgiving because her cooking is ruining the meal? Every year, our family does a big Thanksgiving dinner, and we all typically bring a dish or two. My sister, who's a lovely person in every other way, insists on cooking something homemade every time. The issue, she's not a great cook. And I don't mean just not great. I mean, she has somehow managed to turn classic dishes into borderline inedible creations. For context, last Thanksgiving, she showed up with her special recipe stuffing that was over-seasoned with random spices like cinnamon and cardamom, and was dry, and the flavors were confusing and totally off for stuffing. Only one person took a small bite, and the rest went untouched. Another year, she brought a green bean casserole that had some kind of strange, chewy texture. She later admitted she used coconut milk and almond flour to experiment. No one wanted seconds of that either. This year, I'm hosting Thanksgiving. Since I'm responsible for putting it all together, I wanted to keep the menu consistent so that people could actually enjoy a cohesive meal. I thought I'd avoid drama by asking her to bring non-food items instead, like wine, soda, or even some flowers. I explained to her, very kindly I thought, that I just wanted to make things easy and streamlined, and I'd handle the main dishes. But she didn't take it well. She got offended and told me I was being controlling and shutting her out of the family gathering. She then accused me of making her feel inadequate and said that Thanksgiving is about everyone contributing, not me deciding what's acceptable. I told her that everyone appreciates her effort, but that she could contribute in other ways and still be a part of it. She doubled down and said she's bringing her famous green bean casserole whether I like it or not. I mean, the context I want to know, chat, is like, are y'all telling her that her stuff tastes like shit? Or are y'all like, yummy? Now my mom and a couple of other family members have chimed in saying I should just let her bring whatever she wants because it's Thanksgiving and it's the thought that counts. They're acting like I'm committing some huge offense by wanting the food to be enjoyable for everyone and not have random experimental dishes that no one will eat. But I feel like I'm just trying to keep the meal enjoyable and frankly edible. I don't think it's wrong to want guests to actually enjoy the food, especially since I'm putting in a lot of effort to host. I'm trying to decide, chat, because I think the answer is not the a-hole, but I also think she's creating an unnecessary conflict. Like, I get it, you're the host and you sound a little bit like a perfectionist here and you want everything that's under your control and under your roof to be perfect, but also I think this could just be avoided if you're like, all right, whatever, make your fucking shitty dish that nobody's gonna eat and you guys can just have a regular Thanksgiving. Apparently she's pretty enjoyable other than just this issue here. I still think not the a-hole. And I also think, hey, if nobody's told her that her food sucks, somebody needs to be really nice and tell her that her food sucks. Or that she should at least not experiment on other people when she's making experimental food. And someone needs to absolutely tell her that. But also, I don't want to say it's a non-issue, but like nobody's getting hurt by her shitty food. So we do have a small update here and then a full post update. I tried to compromise, but it's already turned into a whole thing and Thanksgiving is still a few weeks away. After our last conversation, my sister was being pretty cagey about what she planned to make, so I reached out to my mom, hoping she could help smooth things over. Instead, she got defensive, saying I'm overthinking and that it's just one dish. I told her I wasn't sure it was just one dish anymore, especially after hearing about my sister's grocery haul, including canned oysters and edible glitter. That's foul. I hope that's not true, because if that's real, that's foul, bro. Then my mom let slip that my sister has been hard at work on some creative menu she's planning as her Thanksgiving surprise. Apparently she's been telling the family group chat, which I wasn't included in, by the way, that I'm being controlling and that she wants to expand everyone's palate with something truly unique. Oh God, you've unleashed the beast here, girl. To top it off, my cousin sent me a screenshot from the group chat where my sister said she's bringing not one, but 3 dishes to Thanksgiving now. She's calling them her Thanksgiving trio experience, complete with their own place settings and a little menu card she's designing. I'm officially panicking because I have no idea what she's planning to serve, and from what I've heard, it's not remotely traditional. At this point, half the family thinks I'm overreacting while the other half is texting me with things like, is she really bringing glittered sweet potatoes? I feel stuck. If I try to control it anymore, I'm the bad guy, but if I don't, Thanksgiving might turn into a tasting event for my sister's avant-garde cooking. So yeah, Thanksgiving is weeks away and it's already become a family spectacle. I don't know whether to brace myself or just preemptively order pizza. Look, bro, like if it's as bad as you say it is, I think your best plan of action here is let her do her thing, but just make sure you make enough food to cover the absolute food Armageddon that is happening here. And then I would just make a very good point of tasting all of her food and being like, this tastes fucking awful. You need to stop. That's the hill I think you can die on. If your sister wants to fuck around, let her fuck around. But if she wants to find out, oh boy, should she find out. Give her the reality check for sure. But honestly, I think you're being a control freak right now. Final update. All right, so Thanksgiving is now just a little over 2 weeks away and somehow things have escalated even further than I thought possible. I thought maybe my sister's Thanksgiving trio experience would be the peak of the drama. Well, turns out I was wrong. Since the last update, my sister has become fully committed to making her dishes the main attraction. She's been dropping hints in the family group chat, which I'm still not included in, but shout out to my cousin for the screenshots, about how this Thanksgiving will be one to remember and calling it her Thanksgiving debut. She's apparently been referring to herself as the Thanksgiving head chef and has hinted that she's bringing some kind of culinary surprise centerpiece that will transform the whole experience. I would say that she needs a hobby, but clearly she has one and she fucking sucks at it. Like, imagine pouring your soul into being a Thanksgiving head chef and your food is ass. All right, this is great, but like, let's put this energy into like a job or something, you know? From what I can piece together, she's planning a main statement dish in addition to her original 3 side dishes. I'm picturing something equally bizarre, but on a much larger scale, and honestly, I'm terrified. If her green bean casserole was already pushing it, I can't even imagine what she thinks is worthy of being the centerpiece. Then to make things even weirder, my mom texted me privately and suggested that I step back this year and let my sister shine. since she's so excited about her contributions. My mom thinks if we just give her this moment, it'll make her happy and she'll get it out of her system. She even hinted that maybe I should focus on decoration and drinks instead of the main dishes, which feels like an attempt to turn hosting over to my sister without actually saying it. Yeah, bro, at that point, I'd be like, okay, well then my sister can host it. You don't want me to like do the things that a host does? Fine, have it at her place. I'll bring my own food that only I can enjoy. Y'all can eat her shit. So now I'm left with the choice, go along with my mom's plan and let my sister essentially hijack Thanksgiving or keep pushing back and risk a family showdown. I just wanted a nice Thanksgiving with dishes everyone would enjoy, but it seems like I'm either about to hand over the whole meal to her or prepare some serious drama. Thanksgiving isn't even here yet and it already feels like a circus. I'm half tempted to just sit back and see what chaos unfolds, but part of me is still worried about subjecting the whole family to whatever artistic statement she has planned. Now she's getting into like realm of being rude to the host. Your house is your circus. Everything in there is your monkeys. I would literally just be like, fine, she can make her stupid statement meal. I'm not coming and she can host it. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband that I no longer want my Christmas gift? For the past few years, I've wanted a very specific item. It's about $500. I don't like spending that much money on myself, and this isn't necessary to the household, so I never bought it. It would just be something to display like an art piece. Going to leave out exactly what it is because it would be identifying. This year, my husband announced he was getting it for me for Christmas, which I was slightly down about because it ruined the surprise, but I was fine with it. But he keeps talking about it, and in the past month has made a lot of annoyed comments. I could buy a new TV for this price. I could buy so-and-so for how much this is. You're only getting this, so don't expect anything else. And finally today, I sent him something funny that I thought was cute, and he responded saying, well, you're only getting this for Christmas, so don't show me anything else or I just won't get it. I feel like he's treating me like a child. I'm not making him purchase me anything. I'm not asking him to get me this or anything else for that matter. I've said a few times that he doesn't need to get me anything for the holidays. Just a nice dinner or a homemade gift from one of our children would be preferred. I don't like buying myself stuff in general, so I'm not out spending a crap ton of money. He is making me feel guilty, and I didn't even ask for this. He knows I wanted it because I joke around about it or have made comments, but I never told him to get it for me. Today was the last straw with the most recent complaint. So I sat him down and asked him to please not purchase it anymore, that I no longer wanted it. He kept pressing, asking me why, and I just said I changed my mind. He was right. We could spend money on something else for everybody. It turned into a spat, and he finally got it out of me that he ruined it. I explained that he complained so much about it. If I ever opened this as a gift from him, I would just think about how much he did not want to get it for me. And every time I saw it on the wall, I'd think of how he was so annoyed that he had to buy it. So I'd rather he just not. He got super upset and said I ruined Christmas, so now I feel awful. He loves Christmas and asks to be surprised by his gifts every year, which is why his behavior was so strange with this. It's like he felt forced, and I'm trying to tell him not to feel that way. I said to please just let the kids make something for me or for them to pick out something special. Now we're both upset, and I'm feeling like I should have just kept my mouth shut. This is such a stupid thing to worry about. I just also had enough of him complaining about it. This isn't what Christmas is about at all. I just want to spend time with my family, go to church, and watch the kids' eyes light up and have a happy day. So I don't want to hear any of his complaints about getting this anymore. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're just married to a man-child. Who does that? A, ruins the Christmas gift, and B, like, holds it above your head like it's blackmail. I have to get you this gift to make you happy, even though I could spend it on blah, 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 blah. Like, that's just man behavior, bro. Just classic dumb male behavior. Not the a-hole. I would also check, maybe there's something going on with this husband. Like, maybe he does feel like he has to give you this gift or something, but I don't know. Just all around stupid behavior. Update. My husband wrote me a long apology. All right. Good start, saying that he was an ass about it all. He said he will find me something different and he knows he ruined it. When I pointed it out at first, he got defensive, and after he thought about it, he said he was mostly mad at himself. I told him that he made me feel like a spoiled child for something I didn't even ask him to get, and he agreed that he handled it so badly. Wow, rare Reddit male W. We do not see that very often on Reddit. We have had arguments before, who hasn't, but he's never done anything like this with a gift before. He usually is quite thoughtful, sometimes in strange ways, but that's okay. He grew up very poor, and he was just panicking about this purchase. Did he handle it wrong? Absolutely. Unfortunately, his coping mechanism is joking around and making jokes that only he may find funny. Hence the I could buy a TV for this price. I feel terrible that he was dragged so badly in these comments, and I regret posting this at a time that I was stressed and felt guilty. I do deserve what I want to purchase, and I will get it for myself at a later date. I won't seek revenge or tell him everything I'm getting him. I won't let it ruin Christmas. I won't leave him. Geez, what's wrong with everybody? Our kids are happy and healthy and loved. Do they know dad makes dumb jokes and can be insensitive at times? Yeah. Do they also know mom talks loud and makes friends with anybody and talks so much they have to beg her to please leave places? Yeah. That too. Somebody sent me a private message and said that their mother buys herself gifts and what she wants, and she's a lot happier that way. I agree. I should also splurge on myself more often and work on why I feel so guilty spending money on myself and not others. I've always been this way. It doesn't help that we aren't rich and have to think about purchases like this. Coworker ate dog food for close to 6 months. Am I the a-hole for letting it go on for so long? Before we get into the last story, if you've gotten this far in the video, I'm guessing you're enjoying it. And if you want to enjoy all my future uploads, make sure to hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any videos in the future. Also, if you'd like to be here live for those Reddit reads, go and check out my Twitch. Link should be in the description. I usually go live every Thursday and Sunday reading Reddit stories from Am I the A-hole and Best of Redditor updates. Join us for those lives and even get a chance to be featured in videos just like this one. Earlier last year, I bought a puppy, some kind of walking mop, cute as heck. The seller warned me that it had very specific dietary requirements. Honestly, the last thing I wanted to do on my time off was to make dog food, so I approached a woman recommended by my local pet shop to make 2 weeks worth of food. She uses very cheap cuts, grains, and supplements specifically formulated for dogs. I pick up the individually packaged bags every second Monday morning and keep them in a plastic container labeled with my name in the community fridge, then take it home after work. It doesn't take up much room. A while ago, I noticed that some of the bags began going missing, then found the empties in the waste bin. They are marked DF with the date in black Sharpie. I immediately knew what was going on and thought it was funny. Luckily, my mother is in love with Doggo Mop Face, and when she dog sits around 3 times a week, she feeds her, so Puppers never goes hungry. So I let it go on, occasionally complaining to HR and colleagues about my specialty food being stolen. Other than a sternly worded email, nothing was ever done. Finally, during our 6-month productivity meeting, I loudly complained that my bags of dog food were still going missing on the regular, because now I actually was getting pissed at the blatant theft. 2 young guys gave me horrified looks. Neither of them ever fessed up to the pilfering, but since that meeting, my dog food has never gone missing. My close office colleague thought it was funny, but said I was a real a-hole for allowing it to go on for so long. So am I the a-hole? At least I know it must taste all right. And maybe I'm imagining it, but their hair does seem shinier. Chat, what is the motto? You fuck around and you find out. That is the motto of this channel, of this stream, is like, yo bro, you want to steal someone's food? Fine. But when you learn that that food is actually dog food, that's on you, bro. Hey man, maybe you should not steal the food. Maybe you shouldn't fuck around and you wouldn't have to find out.